I gave my mother-in-law my car, while hers was in the shop. When I asked for it back, she said, "I thought you were done using nice things." It came back scratched, the seat torn, and my son's car seat missing. She called me ungrateful for complaining. I live in Spokane, Washington. I'm 37, married, and we have a 4-year-old boy. My husband Matt and I both work full-time. He's in IT, and I'm a nurse. Life's been hard since the pandemic, but we manage. I've always been the type to suck it up and figure things out. Last year, around September, Matt's mom, Kathy, called in one of her emergencies. Her car, a beat-up old Camry, finally gave out. She said the engine was dead, she couldn't afford a rental, and she needed to get to her part-time job at the church and other commitments. Whenever Kathy wants something, she turns it into a crisis. She's not helpless, but she's good at acting like it. I had just bought myself a 2022 Toyota RAV4. I'd driven my old Sentra into the ground over the last decade. That car saw me through nursing school, my first job, pregnancy, everything. I saved for years to afford something better. When I bought the RAV4, I cried in the dealership parking lot. It was mine. Heated seats.
Rear camera.
Apple CarPlay. Nothing extravagant, but it felt like a small reward for everything I'd been through. Kathy knew how much it meant to me. She commented on it constantly, saying things like, "That's a lot of car for someone with student loans," or "Isn't it risky getting something so new with a toddler?" Still, when she called and Matt looked at me with that expression, half pleading, half tired, I said okay. Just a few days, I told them both, until hers is fixed. I dropped the car at her place that night and took Matt's car to work for the week. I figured she'd use it respectfully. I mean, who doesn't treat a borrowed car with care? By day 10, I started asking questions. Has she gotten her car back yet? Matt didn't know. He said she was still waiting on the mechanic.
Fine.
But no text from her, no check-ins, nothing. 2 weeks turned into 3. At that point, I started calling Kathy myself. I wanted my car back. She didn't answer. The one time I got her on the phone, I was polite but firm. I said, "Hey, I really need the car back this weekend. Can we make that happen?" That's when she said it. "I just figured you were done using nice things." It hit like a slap. I asked her what the hell that meant, and she said, "You're a mom now. You don't need to be driving something fancy. You should be thanking me for keeping it warm." I was stunned. I told Matt that night that I didn't care what she thought. She was giving the car back. That Saturday, I drove over there with him. My car was in her driveway, dusty as hell, parked diagonally like someone had just flung it into place. From 10 feet away, I saw a huge scratch down the side. Not a key mark. This was wide, deep, like she'd sideswiped a metal pole. When I opened the door, the driver's seat had a long tear in it, maybe from her purse, or keys, or who knows. Fast food wrappers in the console. Back seat covered in crumbs and what looked like spilled coffee. But the worst part? My son's car seat was missing. "Where's the car seat?" I asked her, trying to stay calm. "Oh, that ugly thing? I put it in my garage. Didn't like how it looked back there." She said it like she was doing me a favor, like she was allowed to redesign my car.
I told her to get it now.
She huffed like I was being dramatic and disappeared into the garage for 10 minutes before dragging it out with one hand, like it was some dirty rug. It had spiderwebs on it. I didn't even yell. I just took the keys, strapped the car seat back in, and drove off. I didn't speak the entire way home. Matt kept trying to explain her side, saying she didn't mean it like that, but I was done. I reported the damage to my insurance the next day. I also went to small claims court for the torn seat, the missing car seat, and cleaning costs. Kathy lost, had to pay me back, and told everyone I was trying to financially destroy her. I didn't care anymore. What I did care about was what I learned next, and that's when the real revenge started to take shape. After the small claims case, Kathy stopped talking to me. That wasn't the problem. The real problem was Matt. He never said it outright, but I could feel the resentment building. He thought I'd made a scene by taking his mother to court. I reminded him, again, that she trashed my car, insulted me, and treated me like I didn't deserve to own something nice. His response? She's just old-fashioned. You know how she is.
No.
That excuse was done. She wasn't old-fashioned. She was mean, controlling, entitled. But then Matt started pulling away. Quietly, subtly. He'd work late more often. I'd bring up bills or daycare, and he'd half listen. I asked if something was wrong, and he'd say, "I'm just tired." But it wasn't tired. It was distance. 3 weeks later, Kathy posted on Facebook, publicly, that she was heartbroken that some people put money above family. She didn't name me, but it was obvious. Her church friends and relatives piled into the comments, talking about disrespectful young people and how some women ruin family ties. I felt humiliated. Worse, Matt liked the post. He clicked like and didn't even try to hide it. That night, I asked him point blank, "Do you think I was wrong for what I did?" He wouldn't answer, just stared at the TV and said, "You could have handled it differently." I slept in the guest room that night. What made it worse was Kathy wouldn't let it go. She started showing up at our house when Matt was home and I was working. I'd see her car in the driveway when I came home late. Matt said she just stopped by, but she never stayed when I was around. She was planting herself between us.
Slowly.
Then my son, for years old and brutally honest like kids are, asked me, "Mommy, why does Grandma say you're not nice?" That's when the rage turned into something else. Something colder. I started documenting everything. The Facebook post, the texts, the voicemail she left Matt where she called me spoiled and selfish and said I'd never be part of this family in her eyes. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I watched. Waited. I wanted her to think I was weak. I needed her to keep showing her true self, especially around my son, so Matt could stop pretending. But Kathy wasn't done. She had one more betrayal in her, and it almost ended my marriage. The final crack didn't come from Kathy directly. It came through daycare. One morning in February, I dropped off my son like usual. As I signed him in, the manager, Becky, pulled me aside. She looked uncomfortable. "I just wanted to check in," she said carefully. "Your mother-in-law, Kathy? She stopped by yesterday." I froze. "She said she was here to pick up your son. But he's not on her authorized list." We told her no. She got upset. I felt sick. Kathy hadn't asked. She hadn't mentioned anything. She just showed up and tried to take my son like she had every right. I asked Becky if she'd documented it. She had. I thanked her and drove straight home. I didn't go to work. I sat in the kitchen shaking for 20 minutes. Then I pulled up the home security app and checked the last month. 3 times in the last 2 weeks, Kathy had come by when I wasn't home. Once, she stayed in the driveway for nearly an hour, just sitting there. Once, she brought groceries and left them on the porch. But the last time, she let herself into the garage. I'd forgotten we gave her the code years ago when Matt had surgery. She didn't take anything. She didn't even go into the house. But she stood in the garage, looking around for 6 minutes, then left. I changed the code that day. When Matt came home, I confronted him. "Did you know your mother tried to take our son from daycare?" He went pale. "What are you talking about?" I told him everything. He tried to defend her again, said she probably thought she was helping, that maybe she thought I was working late. I couldn't believe it. I asked, "Do you even hear yourself?" That night, I gave him a choice. I will not let her near our child without permission again. You either talk to her and set boundaries, or I will. And if I have to do it, it won't be pretty. He didn't talk to her. He waited, ignored it, said it would blow over.
So I handled it.
I contacted a lawyer, not to sue, but to draft a formal cease and desist regarding unauthorized visits to our home and our son's daycare. I sent it through certified mail. Kathy exploded, called Matt crying, told him I was trying to erase her from the family. Matt started sleeping on the couch. But here's the twist that really flipped everything. A week after the letter, I got a call from a woman named Janice. I didn't recognize the number. She said she used to work with Kathy at the church thrift shop. She told me Kathy had been bad-mouthing me to volunteers, saying I was unstable, neglectful, even hinting I had a drinking problem.
Lies.
All of it. But Janice didn't call just to tattle. She said, "I thought you should know. Kathy's been using her car for months before she admitted hers was broken. She told people it was her new SUV, that her son and his wife finally gave her what she deserved. That hit me like a brick. Kathy hadn't just borrowed my car. She'd claimed it, pretended it was hers,
Lied about me.
and now she was trying to slide in and take my son, too. That's when I knew this wasn't about a car anymore. This was about power.
Control.
Image. She was about to lose all of it. After I spoke to Janice, everything clicked. Kathy wasn't just petty or overbearing. She was building a narrative that she was the good, overlooked matriarch and I was the selfish, ungrateful daughter-in-law. She told her church, her friends, even tried to tell my own husband that I was unstable. She wanted to control how people saw me. But she underestimated one thing. I had proof, and I had nothing left to lose. I gathered everything. Photos of the car damage, screenshots of her Facebook posts, the voicemail where she called me spoiled, the daycare incident documented, the security footage of her entering our garage, and now Janice's statement. Backed by another volunteer who confirmed Kathy claimed the RAV4 as her own. I made copies, digital and physical. I wasn't going to make noise. I was going to cut off the oxygen that let her thrive, her image. First, I called Matt into our bedroom, sat him down. I laid it all out in silence, one file after another. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. When I finished, I looked him straight in the face and said, "This is who your mother is. If you want to protect her, you can pack your things and leave tonight. But she will never come near me or our son again." He didn't say a word, just stared at the floor. That night, he moved into the guest room permanently. I stopped wearing my ring. We coexisted for now, but I started talking to a lawyer. I wanted to be ready. Then I went after Kathy's world. I wrote a letter to her church's leadership, detailing everything with documentation. I didn't make threats. I just laid out the truth. How she had tried to remove a child from daycare without authorization, lied about owning someone else's car, and spread slanderous stories about her family. I signed my name. I included my contact information. She was removed from the volunteer board within a week. I sent the same packet to the local women's group she chaired, and to her pastor. Quiet, professional, undeniable. Kathy called my phone 27 times in 3 days. I never answered. She left one voicemail. "You've ruined my reputation." I saved it. Matt found out when Kathy came to the house crying one night, demanding to see him. I let her scream on the porch. I filmed her meltdown through the blinds. Then I opened the door and handed her a printed photo of my son, me holding him in front of the RAV4, with the words, "This is what I protect, not your ego." Then I closed the door. I filed a no-contact order shortly after that. It stuck. Matt eventually asked for counseling. I said no. He made his choice when he clicked like on a post dragging my name. I told him I'd be filing for separation. 3 months later, the RAV4 is still mine. I had the seats redone, got the scratches fixed. It looks better than ever. Kathy doesn't speak to me. Her church whispers about her. Her image is gone. Her voice carries no weight. And me? I go to work. I raise my son. I drive my damn car. Windows down, music on, proud of every single mile I earned. That was my revenge, making sure the truth ruined her louder than any lie ever could.